Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going to do a sub-rogue guide. Everybody's been asking me about the new build, about yo, is sub-rogue back? Now, more than likely, sub's going to get nerfed. Same thing with like the BM hunters, how they're literally carrying like, they're literally going 6-0 in every solo shuffle lobby, or just being insane. It's going to get nerfed, but you might as well have fun while you can. So, pretty much your best ratio is probably going to be Night Elf, because when you're running this type of build, you're not running CDR. So we're running the flag build. You're not going to be running CDR, which means your shadow dances are going to be kind of iffy with, instead of having CDR and being able to reset them, you're going to have trouble resetting those shadow dances. So keep in mind, don't just be throwing out shadow dances if you're not doing a go. Make sure you're doing a go when you click them, otherwise obviously you're not going to be able to do your go. So pretty much I'll give you a rundown of how you do your build, or your, how you do it. So what I like to do is I don't put symbols in my burst macro because it automatically will click it. So, when I click my burst, it's going to automatically put the buff up there. And then after that, you're pretty much just looking at this. Cheap shot, flag, use your burst macro. Your burst macro is probably not going to have symbols in it. So, cheap shot, flag, burst, secret tech macro. And then after that, you're pretty much just going to shadow strike, symbols, and do a fat abyss. And again, also keep this in mind. When you're running flag, it's going to stack up. So you're able to go 2 people, or even 3 people during that one go. Because that flag, the more eviscerates, the more, all that comm points that you're just replenishing, it's going to give you a stack on your flag, which means you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage because of that mastery buff. So keep in mind, you do a go on this guy, swap to this guy, finish your go. Don't just like sit on one dude. If this guy clicks a bunch of defensives, you might as well swap to this guy, try to get some cooldowns. But I'll give you a quick rundown before I show you everything else. So again, cheap shot, flag, burst macro, which will be, obviously I'll show it. So burst macro, and then you're going to secret tech, then you're going to shadow strike. You may restun. So again, if you're kidney shotting in the opener, then you don't have to restun unless it's at the end, which I'll show both variations of it. But you're basically cheap shot, flag, burst macro. You're probably going to reach cheap shot unless you can get it off, obviously it depends. But usually it's going to be secret tech, restun, shadow strike, symbols, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate. I'll show you a quick rundown here. So cheap shot, flag, burst macro, secret tech, shadow strike, restun, symbols, eviscerate, eviscerate, and then we can just restun again, eviscerate. And then we can swap to this guy and do basically a little mini go on him. As you can see, it's a lot of damn. So you're pretty much just doing full throttle on both people and very basic. And as you can see, 3.8 million eviscerate. Now again, keep this in mind. I'm going to say this a lot. This is not even best in slot gear. Again, this is a target dummy, so instead of a 3.5 or 4 mil, you're probably going to be hitting like 2.5 right there, but that's an insane eviscerate. So, again, I literally have no enchants on, I have blues on. Like, if you have all the stuff you need, and you can even run 4-set. I've seen people running 4-set. So, you can even run 4-set, which I'm pretty sure I'll have an armory down below that you can try it with 4-set, which I would definitely say to try it and see how it is. But it looks like people are running 4-set, so go get 4-set, and you may even do bigger eviscerates than that. But that's obviously an immense eviscerate, and that's a lot of damage. And then that's pretty much it. So again, when you do your go on the first target, you can swap to the other target after this guy's clicked defensives and you know he's safe, and you can pretty much do all that extra damage that you were just had sitting there on this guy, which means you're going to get more cooldowns. You may be able to use your blind on the healer to keep him, like you're getting a lot of cooldowns in the opener, and on top of that you're doing a lot of damage. So that's pretty much your burst rotation, but let's get on to the gearing. Now again, I'll have all the gearing down below, so you're going to be running, I'd 100% get 4-set. So shout out to Naj, which I'll probably be linking his armory, because him and Calvish are the most, like, they actually will go through for hours on end and test everything. So respect the hustle. So down below, just copy the gear, copy paste it. That's pretty much what everyone should be doing. Copy the the higher players, and then you're pretty much good to go. Get your enchants, get all that good stuff, and that's pretty much all there is with gearing. You're gonna be running the badge, and that's pretty much how every sub rogue does it. Now for your macros, I only run a few macros, but your burst macro is basically gonna have your blades. So your shadow blades, make sure it's the right one here. So shadow blades, you're gonna have your shadow dance, You're going to have your use blood racial, so if you're an orc, make sure you get your racial in there. If you're not an orc, you don't need it in there. Then you're going to have your badge trinket on the macro as well, so when you click this, it's going to automatically click your trinket. You don't got to worry about it. And then you're going to have your secret tech macro, which just minus out Subtlety, so it's literally, you don't even need the macro. Because usually it would be macroed, but, you know, I'm not running secret tech with this build like my other build, but I just keep it macroed. So you don't even need secret tech macro at all. You just don't even, just put it down by itself and you're good to go. And then I have a backstab macro. If you're wondering what this basically just pops out fire. And the toy that you're going to want to get for this is the Fire Eater's Vial, which you get from the fair. A lot of people also ask me that question, so I'm going to get it out of the way now. So if you're wondering how that, you know, smoke comes out, that's what it's from. And that's pretty much all the macros you're going to need. After that, you're pretty much going to have a mini dance macro, which is going to be your shadow dance, symbols, and it's going to be your gladiator's trinket. This is going to be for your off goes. So on non-blade goes, I have a separate macro just to click those, and I don't have to worry about accidentally, oh, this is up and I accidentally click my main go when I'm trying to do an off go. So these will all be down in the description, like always, because your boy got you. And then you're going to be going to the add-ons here. Ability Team Tracker, big debuffs, which is the need. You don't really need Ability Team Tracker because you're going to be running other things that it's going to do that, but I would just get it anyway, and you could see which one you like better. So Ability Team Tracker, big debuffs, damage meter, which is going to show you obviously your damage, your healing, your break CCs, blah blah blah. Now, also, there is a macro that you're going to need to get, which I don't have it because I haven't actually like played much. But it's a macro that cancels out your AoE. Because when you're bursting, every ability you do is gonna be AoE. I'm pretty sure Naj has it. So if anybody has it, the macro that I'm looking for, it's basically a cancel macro that cancels it out. Make sure you link it down in the comments. I'll pin you, and then I'll put it in the description myself. But I don't currently have the macro, because what's gonna happen is it's gonna come up with an AoE debuff, and it's pretty much gonna ruin all your CC, which you're gonna want to cancel off depending on the situation. But it's not really a big deal because a lot of you guys are going to be, you know, it's not going to really affect you to the highest degree. But at the same time, if they're all stacked and stuff, it's not going to be a fun time for you. But back to the add-ons, diminishing returns, nameplate cooldowns. So if you're running how I see people's things above their head, you know, all their cooldowns, that's what that's going to be. Omnibar shows kicks, stuns, all that good stuff right down there, and pretty much just tracks enemy cooldowns. omnicd, this basically will track your party's cooldowns, which is really helpful. So if you're wondering what cooldowns your teammates have, that's what you're gonna want. That means you're not like, oh yo bro, what cooldowns you got, and you know what cooldowns they have already. That way you know if you have to click something or if they got you. Sarena, if you guys were wondering what my Sarena is, I will put a brief thing here that you guys can look at. And if you hit me up on Discord, I will have these actually screenshotted. So I will link you these personally. And you can just copy this. So I'm just going to go through each one of these real quick. And I'm going to screenshot them all so in case anybody messages me about them. So this is how my Sarena looks. As you can see, it's kind of just neat and it's all ready to go. Now, my trinket icon is actually messed up, which you guys can probably just fix that. But I'll just do it right now. I'll just put it right here. There we go. And that's pretty much all you need for that. And that's pretty much all I have for this. So, if you are wanting to have the same thing as me, this is all it is. We have Trufigcd. This basically just shows the buttons that I'm clicking. If you want it, sure, go get it. If you're looking at your own VOD, seeing what you're clicking, that's pretty much what I have, Trufigcd. And that's pretty much all the add-ons that I run. So, now that we have add-ons out of the way, very nice. We are going to be going with I think we got the macros. We got the add-ons. That's pretty much that. So now we can kind of go with the build again. And it's pretty much a basic. Now again, usually 9 times out of 10, you're going to be doing it in the opener. So you're going to start out in stealth. And you're basically going to cheap shot, flag, use your burst macro, secret tech, shadow strike, re-cheap shot, symbols, eviscerate, re-cheap shot, eviscerate. And then if you get any procs, which means, you know, when it goes all the way up. So sometimes when you're doing that go, you'll randomly just get a bunch of combo points. So you'll be able to literally just eviscerate without having the shadow strike. And if anyone was wondering how I target, so if you're wondering, go down to targeting, go down to nearest player, and it'll be right here. So this only targets players, so you don't have to worry about pets or anything like that. And that's pretty much how you do your cheap shot go. I'll do a quick thing here for you guys right now. So you got a cheap shot, flag, burst, secret tech, shadow strike, re-cheap shot, symbols, which you're going to manually click or manually use, and then you're going to eviscerate, cheap shot, eviscerate, boom. So cheap shot, flag, burst, secret tech, shadow strike, re-cheap shot, symbols, eviscerate, re-cheap shot, eviscerate, and then eviscerate. And that's pretty much how your go is going to start out and it's going to finish. As you can see, 2 million, 1 million is very nice. On top of this, you have 3 symbols, meaning you can kind of do this. You can basically go from cheap shot, flag, burst, secret tech, shadow strike, restun, symbols, eviscerate, re-cheap shot, symbols, eviscerate. Now I wouldn't do that because you're going to use all of your symbols on one singular go. I would not advise that because you're going to need to do off goes still. You still need damage for your other goes. So you can do this. If you're going for maximum output, you can re-symbolize every one of those eviscerates for the maximum output of damage. But I wouldn't do it. I just go with your, unless you think you're gonna kill and he's very, very low and it's like, I might go for one more. That's the only time I do it. Otherwise, don't do it. Alrighty, for your secondary go, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the go that you're gonna be doing whenever you're pretty much good to go. So this is gonna be your secondary go whenever you have burst again. So first thing first, you want to get your ruptures up. So get your full rupture on the main target that you're going to be going. Even the off target's fine as well. If you're just standing there and you're just doing mini goes, you always want to rupture up. So this is going to be your kidney go if you want to do a kidney. So pretty much you're going to kidney shot, use your burst, flag early, shadow strike, secret tech, and then after that you're probably going to basically shadow strike, symbols, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate. I don't use symbols back to back because it's just not, it's unless you know you're gonna kill just for the extra thing, maybe it's worth it. So it really just depends on if you think it's like, oh, if he's gonna die, and if you have the extra ones to spare. Obviously I'm not in a game and I'm not doing mini goes, so I have 3, but you're not gonna have 3, you know, during a game because you're gonna be using them every single go. So this is something you're going to be using every go. So you need one. You need one for the starter go. You need one for the secondary go. And then your third burst go, you're going to need another one. So off the R, you need one. Because that's your only point of damage. So for your kidney, you're going to kidney shot, burst, flag, shadow strike, secret tech, shadow strike, symbols, eviscerate, re-cheap shot, eviscerate, re-cheap shot, eviscerate. So here, I'll show you right here. So kidney shot, burst, flag early, shadow strike, secret tech, restun, symbols, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate, shadow strike, eviscerate, and that's pretty much your shadow dance go for your starter. And as you can see, you're going to be hitting some pretty gnarly shadow strikes, or I mean eviscerates. And keep this in mind. I think a cheap shot is going to be much better because you don't have to worry about replenishing it. So instead of waiting that time to do all of them shadow strikes, it's better to just use a vanish and do the cheap shot go that you would normally do at the very start of the first, the first way you would do it. Because you're getting more damage out that way. So usually, if you're wondering why nobody kidney shots when they're doing their damage, it's because you're just wasting so much time getting combo points. Because flag doesn't give you combo points when you blades. So if you blades and flag, it doesn't give you anything. So you have to waste a global or two to shadow strike instead of, doing damage with your eviscerates. So if you're gonna do a kidney shot, that's kind of what it's gonna look like. But again, I think cheap shot, even if it's a a slower open window to do it, you're just getting so much burst out in that amount of time that it's just better. And then you're also getting the benefits from shadow blades with your cheap shots and all that good stuff. So let's say you're on your second go. So instead of kidney shotting, you're gonna wanna you want to, let's say, do a cheap shot go. So you're ready, you're like, okay, I kidney shot the healer or something like that, and you're ready to do your go. So pretty much all I like to do is I'll use my blades, I'll use my burst, and then I'll cheap shot, flag, and do the same thing I would normally do with my mini go. So I have my rupture up, make sure I get that up again. So you're going to click your burst, you're going to stun, so cheap shot, make sure you have your blades up first. So if you click your burst, or you can click blades. I usually click my burst, or you can vanish too. Again, if you want to just flat out use a vanish and just be able to cheap shot like that, that's fine too. But this is gonna be if you don't want to use vanishes and all that good stuff. So here's what it's gonna look like. So you're gonna burst. So you got your rupture up, you're ready to go. So burst, cheap shot, flag, secret tech, Shadow Strike, Restun, Symbols, Eviscerate, Restun, Eviscerate, Eviscerate, since we got those extra combo points. And that's pretty much just how you're going to go in between games. 2.4 right there. And it's going to stack as well. So your flag is also going to stack. So after this point, when you have this flag thing right here, it means you can swap to this guy. Don't just stop on one target. You can instantly cheap shot this guy and do your normal burst rotation. So Shadow Strike Eviscerate, Shadow Strike Eviscerate, Shadow Strike Eviscerate, and just keep the go going. You don't have to just stop just because this guy used cooldowns. Instantly swap to the next target, go ahead and use a Shadow Dance, stunt, cheap shot him, and just Shadow Strike Eviscerate, Shadow Strike Eviscerate, because you're going to have blades up during that moment. And if you really want to, go ahead and try to use the symbols for one of those off goes, and you're like on that one Eviscerate that you're going to hit fat. That's the time when you want to use one of those, symbols if you think, you want to just be doing a lot of damage and stuff like that. So that's pretty much your in-between go, which is, it's not that difficult, but it is a timely fashion thing. It is something that you're going to have to offensively use cooldowns. So, like, if somebody bashes you during that go, you need a trinket. Like, it's very time-consuming. Like, if somebody tries to mess you up doing it, it's not going to be a good time for you. So that's pretty much how you're going to do your burst, and that's the best way I can explain it. But I'm going to do it as if this was a 2v2 arena, so again, if this was, let's just say this is our first go. So let's say we sap the healer, I'm just going to vanish. So you sap this guy, you do your normal go. So again, cheap shot, burst, flag. At this point, you're pretty much good to secret tech, Shadow Strike, restun, symbols, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate, and then immediately swap to this guy with a Shadow Dance, cheap shot, eviscerate, cheap shot, eviscerate, cheap shot, eviscerate, Shadow Strike, and then put a rupture up. I'll show you right here. So, cheap shot, burst, flag, secret tech, Shadow Strike, restun, symbols, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate, swap to this guy, stun, symbols, eviscerate, restun, eviscerate, eviscerate, restun one more time, eviscerate, rupture. And that's pretty much how you pretty much just keep the go going. That's pretty much the best way I can say, in a timely fashion, while your flag's up, while your blade's up. After that, you're good to go. Obviously, if you have CC on him and the other guy's really low, just stay on the guy. But usually, more than likely, the guy's going to get topped off using his cooldowns. You're not going to be able to hit him, or he's not going to take any damage. And there's no point in hitting somebody that you're not going to get any benefits out of. So it's good to just swap to a healer, swap to a third DPS, and just, keep your go going. That way, you may even get some cooldowns. They're going to see blades, the rest of your blades, the rest of your flag, and you're going to get a lot of damage out of that. And again, I just learned this build just today, so I haven't actually tested it much. So there may be a different way you can do this, but I think this is going to be your best way. Again, you saw, a 4 million crit, so you can hit some fatties. And imagine if you had really good gear, if you have best gear and chance and all that good stuff. And, and especially if you face like a Clothy or something like that, you face an Evoker or another Rogue, you're going to be hitting some fat damage. So make sure you go check this build out. It'll be linked down below. And then obviously for your PvP talents, which I forgot, you have a few options. So this is going to be your normal rotation of cooldowns. However, Thieves Bargain is going to be really good. So if you're facing something that Disarm isn't really good against, so you're facing like just like a Feral Druid, Hunter, just something that's like, I don't know if this is going to be that good. What Thieves Bargain, it's going to nerf your damage a little bit, but in reality, you're going to be getting blades a lot faster. And you're also getting, I think, so it's Shadow Blades and Vanish, okay. So you're getting Vanish faster, and you're getting Blades, so this overall is going to be your normal stash. But if you face something that is like, oh, my guys are going to have struggle healing, and I need to run Disarm, then just swap out Thieves. But usually Thieves Bargain, even though you're going to get a little bit damage reduction, you're going to be getting Blades way faster. Every other go, you're having Blades, and you're ready to just keep the damage going. And having that Blades, instead of doing, a 2.5, you're going to be doing like a 2 million, 1.8. That's insane. That's a lot of damage. So compared to what we were doing when it was like maybe 1.4 maxes, now you're actually able to do the burst that we were supposed to be doing in the first place. So that's pretty much your PvP talents. And for your third option, if you want to run something, this is what I run versus Feral Druids and Assassination Rogues. The moment I get a death mark on me or they start bursting me, boom, click that cloak, automatically cancels everything out. But otherwise, Thieves Bargain is great. It's going to be good in 2v2 arena, especially versus casters when, you don't benefit off of either cloak or disarm. So that's pretty much that. And I'm pretty sure with this build, you also get you long range sap. So it's just nice overall for everything. You do not get CDR with this, so keep in mind, don't just throw your Shadow Dances out there when you're not doing a go. Have CC on the healer. What I like to do is I like to kidney shot the healer, and then I'll do my go. So every go you're trying to go with kidney shot, throw out a kidney shot, you do your go, so pretty much just like this. Reach cheap shot, symbols, eviscerate, reach cheap shot, eviscerate, and then I just put a rupture up on him. And again, that was just like a quick little go right there. That's really all you have to do. Again, 1.3 million just right off the bat, just doing a go right there without rupture up, without any type of main setup other than a kidney shot and a cheap shot. That's it. Once you get this down and you can do this and you get everything you need, I think you're going to be doing good. But it will take a minute for you to get used to the build, because you're doing this in a cheap shot usually, so you kind of just have to. It's quick. You got to do it quick. But hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you out. Obviously, I haven't actually tried the build in Arena yet, so there may be a different way to pull off this build. But if you guys have any build suggestions that you want me to check out, link them in the comments or just hit me up on Discord. Either one. It's been X. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.